Hello everybody, welcome back to The Real Deal. You know folks, minimum wage has been a hot topic recently. And we all know about it, they want to raise it. Now, before I talk about this, I want to play you the video from the president on his weekly address. So let's take a look.
Hi everybody. Restoring the idea of opportunity for all requires a year of action from all of us. Wherever I can act on my own, I will. And whenever I can ask more Americans to help, I'll do that too. In my State of the Union address, for example, I asked more business leaders to take action to raise their employees' wages. Because even though our economy is growing, and our businesses have created about 8.5 million new jobs over the past 4 years, average wages have barely budged. So it's good news that earlier this week, one of America's largest retailers, The Gap, decided to raise wages for its employees beginning this year. Their decision will benefit about 65,000 workers in the U.S. That means more families will be able to raise their kids, finish their studies, or keep up on their bills with a little less financial stress and strain. Gap CEO explained their decision simply. He said, "It's right for our brands, good for our people, and beneficial to our customers." And he's right. Raising Americans' wages isn't just a good deed, it's good business and good for our economy. It helps reduce turnover, it boosts productivity, and it gives folks some more money to spend at local businesses. And as a chief executive myself, that's why I took action last week to lift more workers' wages by requiring federal contractors to pay their employees a fair wage of at least $10.10 an hour. In the years since I first asked Congress to raise the minimum wage, 6 states have passed laws to raise theirs, and more states are working on it as we speak. But only Congress can finish the job and lift Americans' wages across the country. Right now, there's a bill before Congress that would boost America's minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. It's easy to remember, 10-10. That bill would lift wages for more than 16 million Americans without requiring a single dollar in new taxes or spending. But even though a majority of Democrats, Independents, and Republicans across the country support raising the minimum wage, Republicans in Congress don't want to give it a vote. Hardworking Americans deserve better than no. Let's tell Congress to say yes, pass that bill, give America a raise. Because here in America, no one who works hard should have to live in poverty, and everyone who works hard should have a chance to get ahead. Thanks, and have a great weekend.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be the first person to admit it, it does need to be raised. And we all know that. Let's stop beating around the bush. Come on. The minimum wage is $7.25, and you want to raise it to $10.10 an hour. Sounds simple enough, but here's the deal. That'll get a lot of people, quote unquote, off the pile. Now, I bring this up because the Congressional Budget Office released a report about that. And they're saying that it could help the economy, but it also could cost anywhere between 500,000 to 1 million jobs. Now, they said in the article that I read, and I'll have the link posted below, about from a macro level, it might cost 0.3% of the workforce, which isn't really a lot. But let's be honest, it needs to be raised. We all know that. So why even play around with it? And I know people's head will explode because of that reason. Now, so I'll be honest. I decided to take a look around what people thought. Now, I'm going to play you this video that he says he's a business owner. Now, he is totally oversimplifying everything. I'm going to make that disclaimer up front right now. Let's watch the video and let's see what he said.
So, tonight's the State of the Union message. And the president's going to talk about income equality. And he's going to talk about increasing the minimum wage from about $7 to $10 an hour, a $3 increase per hour. He's going to talk about the hardship. His justification is the hardship. You know, if you're a working family making $7 an hour, that's not a living wage. Yeah, I get it. It's tough. Been there, done that. But I wish you'd talk about the costs. You know, they never talk about the cost. I mean, who's really going to pay for this? And how much? First, total cost, about $150 billion. That's what we as an economy, the American economy, is going to take a hit. $150 billion in higher costs. Okay. There are 25 million, approximately 25 million minimum wage workers. If you assume that they're all full-time, that's 2,000 hours a year. That's 50 weeks times 40 hours a week. 2,000 hours per year times 25 million workers. That's 50 billion hours times 3. That's $150 billion. So the total cost of this program to you and me, or somebody, is $150 billion. Second point. Who is going to pay for that? A lot of people think that businesses are going to cover that cost. They're going to absorb it into their margins. As a business person, I can tell you that ain't going to happen. As a business person, it ain't going to happen, folks. I can't squeeze my vendors. They're all in the same boat. All my competitors are in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. Anybody who has a minimum wage worker is on the same boat. And most likely, those industries are retail, food service, restaurants, service industries. They're going to pass those costs along, folks. Those are industries that don't have high net margins. They're going to pass those costs along. The bulk of it's going to be passed along to you and me. So the answer as to who pays is going to be you and me as consumers. We're the ones that are going to pick up those costs. Okay? So $150 billion are going to be picked up by me and you in terms of higher prices. Now that means that each of us needs to ante up $500 a year. Because $150 billion divided by 300 million people is $500 a year. That's your cost analysis. I wish you'd talk about that. Because I'll tell you something. In this poor economy, there's a lot of people that can come up with that money. But there are an awful lot of people who can't. They're going to have to cut back. They're going to have to cut back to help others. And you know what? Nobody asked their permission to increase their costs. It's just this coercive government that's going to insist on it.
Now, I'm going to be the first person to admit I don't know what kind of business he does at all. Now, he's so oversimplified it. And, you know, it was the best way, he was basically laughing about it, you know. And that's a wrong thing to do, especially if you're a business owner, trying to justify why it's a bad idea. And it was very condescending the way he was talking. Now, this is not going away. And it will be a topic, and he might use the power of the pen to sidestep Congress on this one. So it's going to be fun to see what happens. And we'll be right back. Hey everybody, Lance here. Did you know I have a GoFundMe campaign? Stop on by and help out the real deal. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Colorado has been in the news a lot lately. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I saw this story from CBS 4 in Denver, they were talking to the governor there, John Hickenlooper. I'm sorry, I had to look at the monitor to make sure I said that right. Now, in the article in question, he threatened to sue the city of Fort Collins over fracking. Now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that city doesn't want it, why would he sue him? So I got nosy, started looking around. Now I'm gonna play you this video. He was talking to an editorial board, and here's exactly what he said.
Almost every well we've drilled in Colorado for the last 20 years was fracked. I mean, it's a technology innovation that really has been around since when I was an oil and gas exploration geologist in the early 1980s. We fracked wells. It's under pressure, sand and silt forces them into the micro cracks of the formation, and then when you reduce the pressure, that silt and sand in the micro cracks props them open and allows you to get more oil and gas out of the formation. It allows these tight shales to otherwise wouldn't be able to produce. In Colorado, where the formations are significantly deeper than the groundwater in almost every single part of the state, the chance of the actual process of fracking, pushing the frack fluid into the groundwater, is essentially, I mean, almost nothing. And it's an industrial process. I don't want to minimize the risks, right? It's got to be done properly, and it needs to be regulated. But fracking is not this terrifying thing. Now, not to say that they haven't spilled frack fluid into, they've had leach ponds where they ripped the membrane, and so it leaked into and got down 20, 40, 60 feet into the groundwater. And that's hard to remediate. That's a problem. We should increase the fines. We should make sure that that doesn't happen. They're doing enough exploration up in Weld County that they don't even use pits anymore, right? They recycle all their frack fluid. Well, if you're going to be anywhere, I mean anywhere within habitations or schools or hospitals, all that, we should make sure there's no escape methane, that there is no pit, that we recycle everything, that we do what we call green completions that hold the oil and gas companies to the absolute highest standard so that it's safe. Now, that being said, I'm going to guess an awful lot of your citizens are very, very concerned just about having a drill rig, 250 feet or let's say now 500 feet from their home.
You know, folks, it's easy when you are your own lobbyist. Plain and simple. And that's what this is all about. And we already talked about in other shows as far as fracking. Now, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs. That's for another whole show by itself. But you got a governor threatening to sue cities that don't want it at all. And your position as the governor in your past working experiences did fracking itself. It looks really bad. Now maybe you're just thinking, hey, I got all this marijuana tax money coming in, which is a whole different story, because that spread, they're talking up to 100 million net revenue. But that's a different story. But I'm going to say this: if the people don't want it, then they don't want it. Plain and simple. And keep that in mind, because the whole fracking deal, at least there, isn't going away. And it's not going away anywhere else in other parts of the country. And we'll be right back. Hey everybody, Lance here. Did you know I have a GoFundMe campaign? Stop on by and help out the real deal. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, last week I did a little bit of, 2 weeks ago, I did a little bit of social commentary. And I'm going to do a little bit today. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I have Megadeath's picture in the graphic? Yes, I know that album came out 20 years ago. When I'm not talking about youth and Asia, we're talking about youth in Asia. Meaning, Belgium was in the news this week. They passed a law that you can do, I'm not even sure if it's assisted suicide. That young people can kill themselves. I can't speak what goes on there in that part of the world. Now, apparently, in the videos I've seen, Holland already has this. Now, for a young person that came all the way down to that, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Now, keep in mind, you'll never see that in this country. Let's make that pointedly clear right now. But as a society, is it morally right or wrong? Now, I'm wondering what you think about that particular subject. Leave comments below, let me know. And you have an opinion on it at all. It'll be very interesting as far as that. Now, moving on, the state of Arizona. Yeah, I know they've been in the news with that, the SB 2153 bill is moving along, about to hit Governor Jan Brewer's desk. Now, speaking of morality, this is morally wrong. Now, for the record, any business has a right to refuse anybody, and every business owner will tell you that. However, the way Arizona going about this, they're using the cover of religion to do it. And that's where it's wrong. And I'm not the only person that thinks like that. Case in point, here's a video I saw from a rally during the week, so let's take a look at this.
Saying the other. I've seen the type of hate that this kind of bill engenders, and this is wrong. This is not the United States that I fought for. This is not the Arizona that I fought for.
Take a selfie of yourself in front of the Capitol and get $1 off.
That's what we got out on New York, right?
Selfie.
You know how it says, give me you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry? Does it say on there, except if you're lesbian? No! Does it say on there, unless if you're gay? No! Does it say on there, unless you're bisexual? No! Does it say on there, if you're not transgender?
Look right there.
No! That's right, because we accept all people in the United States. That's right. This bill is a slap in the face of our founding fathers. I'm tired of the Republicans stealing the founding fathers, saying they have all the rights of the founding fathers. This is what they were saying. This type of bill is wrong in the United States of America.
See, there's somebody who fought for this country that even thinks that it's wrong. That means on the wrong side, it's going to be on the wrong side of history, wrong side of morality, if this actually gets signed into law. And yes, I already know I'm going to get hammered about that, but it is what it is there, unfortunately. And a state that I lived in is even thinking about making this law. Are you nuts? Come on. When I lived in the greater Phoenix area, there's a huge LGBT community there. Yeah, it's hidden, but it's huge. And that's not me making that up. That's straight real talk. And believe me, it's going to be bad, bad news. And we're going to see in the coming weeks and months what's going to happen. And I'll be back for the final segment. Hey everybody, Lance here. Did you know I have a GoFundMe campaign? Stop on by and help out the real deal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the final segment of the show. Now, as you know, last week I didn't do a show, but I did an update. And here's exactly what I said, just in case you missed it. Ladies and gentlemen, big things are about to happen. Now, this whole Roku. Hey everybody, Lance here. Just to give you some updates. I'll let you know the app is actually still in progress. There's some issues I couldn't get out of debugging mode. So hopefully that should be up within the next day or so. And follow me at my Facebook page at Get Lance Media to get more updates as far as that. Now also, I said I'm going to have some big news today, and I do. Now, as you know, I'm going to try and get this show going. And I'm doing everything in my power. Now I made a decision, and it's a huge decision. Ladies and gentlemen, I decided to put my show on Roku. Now here's the deal with that. I got a lot to do as far as that, and it should be up within the next month or so. So stay tuned as far as updates. With that being said, be ready for another Indiegogo campaign. I'm going to have to do it this time because going down and look and see how much it's going to be, there's no way I can do it by myself. And after all, this show is about you. Because without you, I wouldn't be doing this at all. And also, I'm planning on overhauling the webpage, and I haven't touched it in a long time, and I apologize for that. And a lot of that's because of scheduling. But it is going to be back up and running here real soon, and the old page still be together for right now, and I will keep you updated as far as that when that change happens. Project I'm working on is definitely a go. The question is, how fast? And my timetable is a month. And yes, you'll see another Indiegogo campaign coming up really soon. So some big things are going on with the show. So stay tuned. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this week's show. I thank you for watching. And be careful and remember, fear the Roo.